So let's pull it in and work on the exterior. Alright, so we are going to dress all the plastics. I like my Stoner's Trim Shine. It makes a little bit of a mess, but that's okay because I'm going to wipe everything down and polish everything. So and I let that sit, and then I wipe it off later. Look what the wifey brought me. Oh, that's good. So I'm not worried about overspray with this. Again, we're going to polish the paint, so I'm going to wipe everything down. Yeah, this is just a huge gouge here, unfortunately. Alright, so here we have the little base plate that goes on the driver's side rear door. We're going to take some super glue and glue that back on. So it goes right here. So I'm going to use some panel wipe, which is basically just IPA, just to prep everything. So I just want to remove any remaining stuff that might be here, and here is where it will go. I'm going to spread a little bit here. It's kind of like a gel, so it's not going to go anywhere. Press it into place and just let it sit. So it'll sit overnight. Shouldn't be a problem. Alright, so now we're on to removing the molding, and we're going to use some fishing line. I'm going to heat up the molding, and it's already starting to come apart here. Let me show you. So it's already coming apart here. So I'm going to heat it up, get the rest of it off, and remove glue, compound, polish as necessary. The owner already knows this is an older vehicle. The paint under here might, well, it is going to look better than the paint up here. So you're going to see a faint mark or a faint line in there. So, but this looks worse, I think. So let's remove this and see how it comes out. So we may not need fishing line, just slowly prying it off while heating it up, and the glue is just melting and it's releasing. Alright, so ugly molding off. So now we're just dealing with this, which you can kind of work with your thumb and remove the glue. It's a little bit of a less aggressive way than just going straight to chemical, which I have some lacquer thinner that will make quick work of the glue here. But before I do that, I will just remove it by hand because it's the least aggressive way of doing it. Alright, so the majority of it is removed. So let's work at it with a little bit of lacquer thinner. Don't worry, it's okay to use some lacquer thinner. Just be careful with it, that's all. So this just makes quick work of the glue. Softens everything up, and then it starts to get gooey and releases. Removing glue from paint is just a messy job anyway. So we have some Cosmoline remover, so let's use a little bit of that, see how it removes this glue. Does a pretty good job of not gumming it up into little, like, gross little gumballs. That actually works pretty good. It's having a little bit of a hard time trying to remove the gummier spots, but a little bit more agitation, and it does seem to work. Alright, so that's pretty good. Let's continue using the Cosmoline remover. Okay, it took a lot of work. It wasn't pretty. I had to use plastic razor blade. I had to use a little bit of lacquer thinner because there was some glue on here that I don't know what glue it was. It wasn't the double stick tape, it was something else. So it definitely, you know, marred it up pretty bad, but that's just the only way to remove this glue without having to wet sand it and do other things to it. But the lacquer thinner worked, and then the Cosmoline remover worked as well. So it's a mess. We're gonna compound it, not a problem. But hopefully it will remove the lines here, but I think a lot of it is abrasions from the molding actually on the paint itself, perhaps actually vibrating and causing it to actually make a line in the paint, unfortunately. I really don't want to wet sand it, so I'm going to try not to worry about that. So, alright, let's move over to the other side and then we'll start compounding it. Alright, so now the moldings are taken off this. As you can see, they leave a mess. All the glue is removed. That's just abrasions left over. So, we'll see what we can do in compounding that out when we get to it. But let's work here on the hood. This is not going to be a full paint correction. I'm going to go with a single stage or an all-in-one service, really. I'm going to be using my favorite HD Speed and an orange Lake Shine pad. So let's do a little test spot and see how it looks. Definitely some improvement. And it's glossing up the paint. So I haven't done over here yet. This is just showing you before and after. Granted, there's still a lot of defects in the paint, right? But not your heavy, heavy swirls. You're gonna have some deep stuff that's gonna remain. But the paint is really in rough shape. So we are just trying to make it look better. So heavy swirls here. Let's get it to focus. So heavy swirls. And now over here, much better. So let's work around here, get some better angles. But you also notice it's not black. The paint is a dark metallic blue. This is where I'm going to end up. Over here, heavy, heavy swirls, looking ugly. And, you know, this is what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with a super, super high-end vehicle. We're just dealing with a vehicle that just needs a little bit of attention. So, we'll get the paint to looking like that. No movement in the paint, but you have your deeper defects. So from that to that. If you can improve a vehicle that has a lot of miles, this thing has over 200,000 miles, and it has lots of different defects in it. However, we can bring this thing back. We can make it look so much better just by improving the paint, giving it a nice light polish, and knocking out a ton of the heavy, heavy stuff. And you're left with lighter stuff in the paint. So overall, this thing is going to look beautiful. just a single stage with an all-in-one like HD Speed. Look how it improves the paint. Guys, you don't have to worry about getting it so perfect with a single stage or an all-in-one. See, there's still some swirls in there, but the overall effect, it has knocked out a lot of staining, amped up the gloss. Looks so much better. So guys, that's what we're going to be doing all around the vehicle. I'm not going to show too much. I will show when we start to compound the side areas where we remove the side moldings, but I'm going to work around the vehicle, maybe show you a few little before and afters of some sections because the paint is responding so great. So hopefully when there's a little bit of sunlight, I'll be able to get some sun shots hopefully tomorrow. Can't promise anything. The weather around here has been ridiculous, but as you can see with the lights, I mean, the paint is improving so much. So I gotta get to work. Hope you enjoy the rest of it as we work around the vehicle. Now, I usually don't do this. I bought a little rotary, and it comes with the extension tools so that I can get into little 1-inch spots. I really don't like rotaries anyway, just because of the learning curve, and you know, they can leave a little bit of holograms behind if you don't know what you're doing. So rotaries for me are a little bit challenging, but for headlights, I'm going to use the rotary. I'll use HD Speed and see what type of results we can get. They're really not bad, so this should clear up fairly easy. So another reason why I don't like rotaries, just because they splatter. This poor headlight's pretty bad, but it looks much better. All right, we are now on to the side molding areas. Still had to remove a little bit of glue residue. So let's compound these areas and hopefully we can improve them using D300 microfiber cutting disc. All right, so you really can't pick it up on camera. It's hard to see it, but it still left a faint line. So here's unpolished. We haven't done anything there with it, but you can still kind of see that faint line right there. Not as noticeable, but it's still there. And basically, from that molding being on there for so long, I can't even feel it. But it has left basically a little indentation in the paint. If you really want to get rid of that, you can probably wet sand it, but you don't want to risk it. We're not going to risk it on this job. So, as long as it looks like that, and not like that, I think we're good. Now that's what we're looking for. Alright, so paint enhancement. those little light scratches and swirls are still there, but not as noticeable. I'm not going to use my handheld light because if you do that, then you're going to try to chase everything out. You just have to be reasonable when doing all-in-one polishes or single stages. You're not going to get everything out, but this is the result from an all-in-one or a light one step or single stage. So you can see it's hazy and really bad looking here where we haven't done yet. What an improvement. So paint enhancement, not necessarily full correction or anything like that, just enhancement, getting rid of that haze. Alright, so now we're dealing with the trim, pretty faded out. So we're going to try a new product today. So we're going to be trying the Renew Protect Gloss. Now, we're going to see how well it does with restoration. And as far as protection goes, not really sure because the customer will be selling this vehicle. But let's see what it does. It's very, very watery. I'm going to work it down the side and the bottom pieces as well. So it is really, really watery. But it is supposed to dry. So we will see what that looks like when it's dry. So we'll give it a couple of minutes and see what it looks like. So it is really wet and runny. Not sure if it's actually going to dry evenly, but we'll see. Give it some time to actually sit and dry up a bit. So as we're waiting for the driver's side to dry, let's do the passenger side with Black Wow Pro. I have just a little bit left. I do love the smell of this stuff. Man, it smells good. Like watermelons, like Jolly Rancher watermelons. So it does a great job of evenly making everything look nice and dark and rich. So we'll let that dry. So we did all around the trim here. I'm going to be hitting the glass next. So we'll clean up any excess on the paint. But yeah, that looks really nice. You guys really want to see me clean glass? Alright. Just a little bit though. Okay, this glue right here is really annoying. So I'll show you how we remove that inner glue. Okay, so I use a really strong IPA mixture and the little razor blade here, but since I don't want to make a mess of the interior because I just cleaned it, what I'm going to do is put down a towel. Okay, so there's the glue. All right, residue is gone. I hate when they do that. So here in Richmond, in Virginia, they move the center inspection sticker over there. All right, guys, so this is the Renew Protect Gloss. Basically, this is just their dressing part, and it's really a protectant. So it's actually completely dry to the touch. Almost acts like a sealer. So for, I mean, really bad trim like this, I am impressed. Really interesting. It's not greasy or anything like that. It's completely dry. Could probably use another coat, but that's pretty awesome. So I'll do the rest of this and put another coat on that. And then when that's dry, I'll put another coat on this so it has 2 coats total. You probably want to get this stuff right off the glass immediately, which is what I'm going to do, of course. But let's put a second coat on this, because that is really impressive. The bottom trim down here, it did well too. Not as good because it's a rubber and it's kind of damaged already. But I gotta say, very happy with the results. So it seems like you don't want to overwork the product because it'll start to dry. And it might be a little streaky, but it doesn't level off as much as I would like. But if it's restoring it, turning it black, beating water, for a vehicle like this, I'm not worried about it. It wipes off the paint, not a problem. Even if it starts to dry just a little bit, it still wipes off. I have not protected the paint at all yet, so that'll be the very, very last step we'll do. So I'm just gonna wipe the rest of the glass. We'll give that time to dry. All right, guys, so now we're just going to dress the tires. So I am using the Chemical Guys New Car Shine. I have a brush, which is my dedicated tire dressing brush, and I basically just work it into the tread and the sidewall, into that little rim there, and spray a little bit more. I don't oversaturate the tire with dressing. I put just enough on there to make it look nice. Sorry for the jitteriness. I'm holding the camera as I'm doing this, just to kind of give you an overview of how we apply this. I could use my head cam, but I just filled up the SD card, and yeah, I have to use this one. So yeah, wheel is nice and clean, using the Super Clean Wheel Cleaner, the all-wheel cleaner, so it's safe for all wheels. These weren't really bad. Can't do much with the inner barrels. Those are all rusted out, brake dust in there. But we used it on the tire, we used it on the fender well also. Now I'm going to dress that with the Chemical Guys Bare Bones. So let's go do that. Alright, so I have Chemical Guys Bare Bones, and let's just give a nice little light spritz. That's a horrible sound. Alright, so we'll let that dwell, and hopefully that'll look nice under there. Alright, so here's the Black Wow Pro. Nice and dry to the touch. Looks really good. So all of the rubber pieces here, the plastic trim all around. Not bad for restoring it. That's just one coat I put on it. That's all. But it made it look so much better. And here's the driver's side with the Renew Protect. 2 coats on it. So there's some damage here that kind of shows through, unfortunately. It's a little bit more gloss than I would like, but well, I guess the product name is called Gloss for a reason. But it does a good job of restoring. And it kind of creates like this nice little shell that's dry to the touch. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, there's some damage down here on the plastic itself. But overall, not bad, right? Alright guys, protection time. So, Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish. Love this stuff. This is still the original can, by the way. I have done 5 vehicles with it. There's enough to cover this vehicle, and maybe a little bit of another. So we'll see. Plush Micro, let's get to work. Everything now has been done. The trim, the glass, tires, wheels, all the plastic. So, this is the last step, and then we'll take a look around and see how it turned out. So I resorted to using 2 towels, just because it's easier. Kind of like applying a coating. You don't have to be as meticulous about wiping everything perfectly, because it's not going to leave any high spots that, you know, are going to be so in your face. The stuff flashes away really quick anyway. But this just makes it easier. Plus you start saturating one towel and you notice that it doesn't start to wipe away as cleanly. So yeah, I found it better. Just use 2 towels. One to apply, one to wipe off. It starts to feel really nice and slick under the towel. Yeah, really nice. So much easier to apply. Really nice. Awesome. Love this stuff. Alright everyone, she's done. So, it has been polished. Not full correction, we're just going for all-in-one to remove heavy, you know, swirling and marring and things like that, and improve the paint. It's basically a paint enhancement. And as you can see, the color is not black. It's actually a metallic blue, just really dark. I believe it's called Nighthawk Black Pearl. It's a popular Honda and Acura color. A lot of people just think their vehicle is black. But when it's been polished and the sun hits it, then the metallic actually shows, and that blue pearl shows through as well. So paint is looking super glossy, and the sides here looking much better. Not perfect. If we were to put the light on it, you'd still see it, but much improved. Super glossy, and the trim is looking really nice. The roof was done. That's boring to watch, so didn't really have much footage of that. Same with the back area. I didn't want this door open for too long, so I quickly made my way around, so sorry I didn't get any footage of back here. But all the trim here done. So I used Stoner's Trim Shine on all the little plastic bits. It does a great job of restoring the plastic, making it look nice and dark and rich. So, as you noticed, there's some damage like that all around the vehicle. But now it is looking beautiful. So tires and wheels are looking nice. All the glass is cleaned. So this side, yeah, you can still see a little bit. I think this is the worst of it here. If you were really to, yeah, you can still see that little line right there. That's just not going away, unfortunately. But what do you think? Much better, right? So the interior has been cleaned. Oh, just to show you, we used Stoner's Trim Shine on the windshield cowl. A couple of coats, actually, of it. And it just restores that black plastic really nicely. Doesn't last super long, but that's okay. If you want to restore it permanently, then use a ceramic coating to do that. But here the interior, looking really beautiful. Carpets and mats shampooed and cleaned, leather cleaned. All the little interior bits here, that's actually some type of paint, I believe, that's not going to come out. And you can just see, wear and tear damage here. But it looks pretty awesome. Owner is going to be very happy. So all the mats are back in. This little piece is glued in, so that's not going anywhere. So all of the dash components here are nice and cleaned up despite the damage. And here as well, that plastic has been cleaned, or it's actually rubber liner, has been cleaned and dressed. Same with inside there. All the little press buttons for the seatbelt are nice and clean. It's always nice to get those freshened up. So as you saw with the shampooing of the mats, cleaned, scrubbed, extracted. Looking beautiful. And if you're wondering about under here, you've seen in other videos, I usually just use a little microfiber applicator, those blue ones, and I'll work underneath the handle by hand to improve some of the heavy scratches that were there before. And it made an improvement. They're not completely gone, but much improved. There's deep marks in there. But if you're just looking at it quickly, they look really nice. Alright guys, so the Acura is complete. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, like it, share it with others who may enjoy it. And don't forget to subscribe and click that bell. That way you get notifications each time our videos drop each week and you don't miss stuff. And a big thank you to Super Clean. That's why I'm wearing the t-shirt. They actually sent me a bunch of products to review and to try out for myself. I know a lot of other detailers have reviewed and tried out the products. They have their aerosol, which I really like. I love the aerosol can, and the wheel cleaner, the all-wheel cleaner, and then the foaming cleaner. So I always use Super Clean for engines, tires, wheels, all that stuff. And I do use it on the interior every once in a while as well. It's kind of my last resort product if things are really grungy and nasty. I dilute it 1:4 and I use it on the carpet. Sometimes even just 1:1 for really nasty carpets. But Super Clean is great. So thank you guys. I really enjoyed the products and they work great. I think my favorite is going to be the aerosol. The foamer is really nice, the foaming action, probably better on, you know, wheels and outdoor stuff, you know, on the outside of the vehicle, just because it kind of makes a little bit of a mess. Not a huge deal, but I like the regular just spray super clean myself for carpets. But the aerosol foam, that is much, much nicer to deal with. It doesn't have any type of messy overspray or anything like that. It's very precise. And I think that was my favorite out of that. So again, thank you, Super Clean Crew. So guys, if you're interested in any of the products or tools that we've used, then click up here. That goes directly to our website on a dedicated page that has tools and products with which you can just click those pictures and it leads you right to Amazon so you can purchase those products easily. And don't forget our apparel. So we have t-shirts, hoodies, and more. You can actually click up here. That goes to our online store so you can purchase those products. So thank you guys for watching and we'll see you next time. Have a good day.